Hi, I'm Kenneth, and this is Common Hawthorne. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back. Careful or regular watchers will note that I'm recording this the same day as another response to a hashtag. The hashtag in this video is Tarot Anti Bucket List, which was created by Amy at Strength Reversed. And I really enjoyed thinking about what are the things that are not my tarot goals. And top of the list is Thoth or Thoth. I I have no interest in it, and so the people who are spending a year getting to know it or devoting particular attention to becoming familiar with it, I think that's great. But the artwork has never uh, appealed to me, and so um, it's just it's not on my list. Um, Also, not on my bucket list is having the perfectly curated deck collection. I have a lot of decks, both tarot and oracle, and I have some Lenormand, a couple of Kipper decks now, some rune decks, and I don't use them all. Some I don't like. I've gotten rid of some. Um, I, as many people do, when I first got into, well, not, when I returned to tarot a few years ago, I was really looking for, the deck that would scratch that itch, various itches. And so I bought a lot of decks in a short period of time, and that has definitely slowed down, mostly because I realized, well, I can't use them all, which they're decks that I'm not going to use that I still buy because they're really beautiful and I want to look at them every once in a while. So that it's not that particularly, but I'm also I've learned what decks are more likely to speak to me. Although once you buy a deck, as most people watching this probably know, once you buy a deck and it's in your hands and you shuffle it and you look at it, sometimes a deck that you thought you would love just falls flat, or a deck that is beautiful you discover doesn't work for you. And um, so I'm happy to have some decks that aren't ideal in a box. And even though I have gotten rid of some, and I will probably continue to do some trades or selling or giving decks away, but I don't have a goal of having like some perfect collection. Um, I don't really have any interest in learning astrology or Kabbalah, um, or other kind of esoteric systems that have been either put in place by different tarot creators, uh, you know, going back to Golden Dawn and the um, early 20th century, but also then modern deck creators sometimes add things, astrological information or um, alchemical information or the Kabbalah, and I don't have any interest in learning those systems and layering them onto tarot. There are some systems that people have layered onto tarot that I am interested in, but I'm mostly interested in them as their own thing. Um, so, numerology and the elemental significance of the earth, air, fire, water, and then I add spirit, those make sense to me, and I do use that and numerology to a limited extent, but not those other fully fleshed out systems. Um, Among the systems that I'm not really very interested in are learning to read playing cards. Geomancy doesn't really appeal to me, although because I live on the beach and I can walk out onto a deck that looks down onto the beach, I have sometimes wondered about divining by the rack that's left behind by when the tide goes out, seaweed or shells or sticks or dead animals, and um, but that would be kind of something that I would just need to do regularly and figure out if it calls out any meaning for me. But geomancy, no. But I Ching, uh, it's interesting the different systems that people on TarotTube that I'm friends with are exploring or interested in, and I Ching doesn't show up, um, which I find really interesting. That people who are pretty much focused on tarot might start doing runes or they might do charm casting, but nobody has ever mentioned I Ching, and I think that that's really interesting. And finally, and probably most problematically, I don't aspire to transforming the um, white supremacist cis heteronormative patriarchy um, by the decks I buy. I pay attention to what's in the decks I buy, but I don't. I feel like there are other ways that are more effective for me to change the world than the purchase of tarot decks. Um, so, um, perhaps somewhat controversial on my anti bucket list. I'm sure that there are other things that it just doesn't even occur to me to say are not a goal because they're not a goal. um, it's funny because this is uh, a referential kind of tag. It is in not it's not against what other people on TarotTube are doing or describe, because what people's practices and what people's goals are great. It's fascinating that people are studying Thoth, or that people find very rich correspondences between different systems that work with tarot. Um, so it's not like this tag is a rebuttal or resistance to the things that other people do, but it does actually depend upon making reference to the goals that other people say that they have, and just to observe that they aren't goals that I have. So perhaps at some time I'll do a video about what my tarot goals are, although I'm not sure I know what they are. But anyway, there you have it. Thank you, Amy, for starting this tag. Once again, my name is Kenneth. This is Common Hawthorne, and I hope that you come back soon. Bye.